Hello, and welcome to the OT Star Wars Cast pilot episode, where we will be covering topics from a galaxy far, far away. I'm your host, Herok, and here with me is...
Leo.
And today we will be covering the Episode 7 teaser trailer, in comparisons to the Phantom Menace trailer, as well as the original theatrical trailer for A New Hope, also known as just Star Wars. So, to start us off, what did you think of the trailer?
Which one specifically?
The Episode 7 trailer.
Well, I like how, well, for sure, it didn't feel like a George Lucas vibe. How it was, like, screened, like, frame to frame. Mm-hmm. But it was still pretty much Star Wars overall. The atmosphere feels like it, but you can tell it wasn't George Lucas at the handle.
Yeah, I really like a lot of what they did with Episode 7. Like, the trailer so far. Like, the shots were all, like, really cool, and, it gets us talking about, hey, oh, look, the Millennium Falcon's here, and, oh, there's this new, like, robot. Like, I know that we have the names, but
The Roll Droid, or something like that?
Yeah, their names are out, but I haven't looked, but, I don't have them in front of us right now, so... Yeah, we'll just be... You guys will be able to figure out what we're talking about. My favorite part of the entire trailer... my favorite part is, like, the shadow tease of the stormtroopers. Because, it's like, oh, it looks like they're suiting up for some type of battle of some kind. And, it just gets me really excited to see, hey, what are we going to do with the stormtroopers from here?
And I love the redesigns of the helmet. Like, you can see the black lining and stuff.
Right. Yeah, it gives, like, a really nice, it gives a really nice vibe. It was interesting to have, like, the first shot be a black actor, like, in Stormtrooper, in the Stormtrooper uniform. Because, it gets you thinking, it's like, oh, is this a throwback to Episode 4, where they're, like, where when they infiltrate the Death Star, they dress up as Stormtroopers to blend in.
And what was interesting enough is that it looked like somewhere in Tatooine, I'm guessing?
Yeah, because of course, how can you have, the first episode in a saga start, anywhere other than Tatooine?
Yeah, it's like always like the trope of everything. Not really the trope, because back for the Phantom Menace, it wasn't basically on Tatooine, but they did go there.
Right.
Like, when they always come back to Tatooine at some point or another.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then I really love seeing, the X-Wings again, and then the shot with the Millennium Falcon was, really super awesome.
For when I saw that part, I was like, I felt like a kid again, without a doubt.
Like, Star Wars always has the feeling of, feeling of bringing back, pleasant childhood memories. I really like all the episodes of Star Wars. All good memories for me there. I know other people may disagree, but it's we all have our own taste. And, some of them might be fueled by nostalgia, other not so much. It is what it is, though. It's not a big deal. As long as you enjoy some part of the Star Wars universe, then, we'll always have something to talk about.
Definitely. I mean, Star Wars is still pretty much talked around even up today.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now with this new trailer coming out. But, however, there is one part of the trailer that, really sticks out as, and that's especially the reason why I do want to do a comparison to the Phantom Menace trailer and the original Star Wars trailer, and that is the crossguard lightsaber. Before I get into my thoughts about it, I want you to talk about your thoughts about Leo, because once I start, it's not gonna end well.
Well, I don't personally hate on it, because I haven't played with I only played with, the toys back then with Hasbro,
right.
I mean, with their lightsaber where it just pops out, and then that would be my only take from it. I like the color red, so that already got my affinity. Right. And the only thing I would say negatively about it is, the crosshill makes it look more a danger hazard than before. And I don't see me swinging it around my back like how Anakin Obi-Wan does it, because I'm worried about my fingers.
Right, those guys like doing flourishes and Anakin spins. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Well, but before I do, start talking about this, for those of you who don't know, I am a part of a lightsaber choreography group. on Drexel's campus called Drexel Dragon Jedi. So I do lightsaber choreography, or basically fights with lightsabers as is. So as someone who does lightsaber choreography, I hate the crossguard lightsaber because it serves no real practical purpose in an actual fight. Because if you look where the crossguard comes out, the blades protrude from emitters, and I'm not going to say I am an expert on medieval sword fighting, but I recall the purpose of the crossguard, itself, to stop a metal blade from coming down and slicing you apart, and that's perfectly practical in actual combat where you're using steel. However, when you're using beams of light that cut through anything, if your crossguard is going to have the emitters exposed where a blade would be caught if it was sliding down the shaft of the normal blade, then your emitters are going to be cut off, and that takes away the purpose of the crossguard. And then you can't really do flourishes, as you mentioned, because if you swing it around too wildly, you're going to lose fingers and other things. Even if I were to do a basic behind the back forward flourish, the parts of the crossguard that portrayed the beams, they would cut into me millions of times, just on one rotation around my body with the spinning. It's just impractical. Of course,
and for another thing, as much as I love lightsabers and all that, I'm more into piloting and the X-wings, right?
Right.
But even from my perspective, that looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. But basically, I'm not gonna hate on it because I want to see it be practical. But just joking around with other friends in Jedi, we came up with other lightsabers that seemed stupid, but we couldn't come up with anything less practical than it. My friend
I thought it was when I saw the lightsaber, right? I thought it was emulating an exhaust pipe. It's just letting out a little fuel or whatever.
Right.
Then I would be okay. Okay, that makes sense. If it's too powerful, because you know how the Sith are making synthetic, right?
Yeah.
Synthetic crystals, not the official one. So I would assume for that red lightsaber with the crosshilt is actually exhausting, exhaust pipes.
Right. But then again, I can see one way that the pieces of the crossguard that are the crossguard would be practical, and that's if they're made out of Mandalorian steel. Because a fact that most people don't know is that the Mandalorian steel is basically the armor that is steel used in the armor that Jango Fett and Boba Fett both have. And Mandalorian steel can't be cut through for lightsabers. So if they do have the hilts made out of the pieces of the crossguard that are the crossguard made out of Mandalorian steel, then they'll be able to get away with that. Okay, yeah, I have the blade sliced down, but that doesn't make it practical for flourishes or anything. But I'm optimistic. Hopefully they prove me wrong and they do make the crossguard lightsaber a worthwhile invention. But as is, I just see it as superfluous and just silly. And I honestly feel they only put it in there as a way to replicate the double-sided saber moment from the Phantom Menace trailer.
That still gets me up today.
Yeah, because when you see Darth Maul, it's oh yeah, I'm just going to reveal a second blade. Regardless of what you feel about the prequels, there's no denying that that's just freaking awesome. Just to go, well, I was fighting with one blade now I have two. Ha! Come and get me. And 2v1ing people. I fought a person with a staff saber, and it is definitely a unique and fun dynamic, for sure.
And for me, I'd rather be a Sith because of that. That was my selling point.
Right. It's come to the dark side. No, we don't care about the cookies the dark side has. We care about the double-sided sabers.
The cookies come after.
Yeah. Okay, and then, was there anything else that you wanted to say about the Episode 7 trailer on its own? So far...
Oh, yeah. For what I want to say is... oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Coming out with cold. what I want to say is that the X-Wing fighters that are making the return, I am very, very happy. I love like the fighters back in episode like 4, where like Luke went in. That was just badass. And then for watching, and then I played the Star Wars Starfighters game a lot, and even Jedi Fight. And to me, those are just amazing how it coordinates the game. You can tell it's like you're actually flying through the galaxy in a plane like that, or jet.
One last thing I do want to say about Episode 7 is, I don't like the trailer. I don't like the title, The Force Awakens, so much, because to me it does kind of sound like, hey, this is more of a video gamey title than a movie title. Like, movie, but because after all, the Force hasn't ever really been asleep, because, once Luke brings balance to it, well, Anakin assisting Luke to bring balance in the Force. Well, we'll cover that in the episode about Episode 6 when we get around to it, about, like, the balancing of the Force there. But, basically, I'm going to say the Force is balanced, but it's definitely not asleep, per se. So, I feel The Force Awakens is kind of an iffy title, but, just like everything, this is a teaser trailer, so we have to wait and see overall.
Compared to the other trailers, they look great.
Okay, so now that we've talked about the Episode 7 trailer by itself, let's use it in comparison to the original Phantom Menace trailer, and then the original theatrical trailer for Star Wars itself. The reason why I chose these two trailers for us to compare and contrast is because those were other times where we knew nothing about what we would be getting in the Star Wars trilogy that would precede it, kind of like now. With Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the Jedi, we already had expectations of what to expect going in. It wasn't completely new and unknown, while with these trailers, everything like about the trilogies are completely unknown. So, in comparison to Phantom Menace trailer even, Episode 7, in my opinion, like the trailer for Episode 7 is kind of lacking. What did you think, Rikku?
What I think about the Phantom Menace trailer is that, like, comparing to the other ones, like, to Episode 7, is that when I see Phantom Menace, I'm like, this is an amazing trailer. When I was a kid, I saw the original trilogies, and I was hyped for what was going to come after. And when that came up on, like, trailers on the movie theater, it's like, okay, I have to see this. Like, we're all seeing something new again at the first time, rediscovering what it's going to show us again, why we love Star Wars and whatnot. Right. And as I dwell now, like, looking back, it was really well made, because, again, it is basically George Lucas, how he would direct it, his screenshots, how he would transition and stuff, so you can know it's basically his mark.
Right. And, like, with the Phantom Menace trailer, like, I'm going to say, like, yes, the Phantom Menace trailer, I'm not going to say it was perfect, but it was certainly very standout, very excellent. Like, I'm not hating on the new one, but it's like, the new one.
Oh yeah, but like, the new one doesn't. It just doesn't feel like George Lucas put input.
Yeah, the Phantom, like, there's just like something special and charming about the Phantom. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's like a certain flair. I'm not saying that the new trailer is bad. No, it's certainly good. It's just a different beast. And then. But
like, then Jar Jar's voice came in though. That was like, oh god.
Yeah, but Jar Jar. Love him, leave him, hate him, burn him. He's Jar Jar. What are you gonna do? He's harmless. And then,
yeah.
Like, one thing that you really can directly compare between the two, like, mostly it's apples to oranges. But one thing that, you really can compare with the new to old trailer between Phantom Menace and Episode 7, Force Awakens, is the lightsaber reveal, like, the new lightsaber reveal. Like, the Darth Maul one was, like, intimidating, because, you flash to Qui-Gon, like, Qui-Gon's holding his lightsaber, then you flash to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's holding his lightsaber, and then, after those two, it's like, you see Darth Maul, and then he just reveals his double-sided saber for the first time. And, you can, like, you can put two and two together. It's like, okay, these three are going to have a three-way lightsaber duel. with this guy with this double, the two guys are gonna have a duel with this one guy who has a double-sided lightsaber. Let's see how this will turn out. What I don't like about
Indeed.
the Force Awakens trailer is how, it just seems like the Sith was just walking through the woods, and then he just randomly turned on his lightsaber just to reveal the crossguard. Like, it felt like a reveal for reveal's sake, not something that we had the context for. Like, the stakes aren't raised. All we know right now is, hey, this guy's a Sith, and he turns on his lightsaber. We don't know why he's turning it on or who it's directed at, and I feel like, it loses some of its appeal because it doesn't, because we don't have clear, it doesn't give the fan enough to piece together why the Sith's doing it in this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any other thoughts on it or no?
Well, it gave me, when we were watching the trailer again, right?
Right.
I just thought about nostalgia, like, when I look at Ben Kenobi,
Right.
or Obi-Wan, I need some little clarification. Why is he called Ben?
Well, he's called the reason why he's called Old Ben in A New Hope / Star Wars is because, he's called Ben because that's his alias. Now that they're in hiding, I have failed. The Empire has risen. I'm just gonna be this hermit, and I'm just gonna be Old Ben Kenobi. Because, Obi-Wan, and, Ben's right in there. It's not a stretch, basically.
Okay, I thought he was under witness protection, even though it was called Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, if he was under witness protection, he wouldn't have kept the Kenobi part.
Yeah.
Well, that plus the Empire's in charge. Who would be witness protecting him? Vader? Hey, Ben. Yeah, we just had this falling out. You chopped me in half, but, I'm still gonna do you a solid. I'm gonna keep you near my son. Keep spreading propaganda telling him that I'm alive. It's gonna make for a really awesome reveal when I go, oh no, Luke, I am your father. Yeah, it's gonna make for a cool reveal, so, go chill in Tatooine. Keep an eye on my son. Is that how the witness protection would have gone down?
We don't know how that works for their ideals.
I don't know. I just find the mental image of, Vader and Obi-Wan just having a conversation over witness protection just hilarious.
Indeed. And I find it, to this day, when I saw Obi-Wan, I didn't know that was Obi-Wan at all, because Ewan McGregor, right?
Right.
He didn't look like Obi-Wan, he didn't feel like Obi-Wan in the Phantom Menace.
Right. Well, that's because it was a younger version.
Yeah, more, but then at the same time, you would know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's who is this guy? Oh, wait, it's Obi-Wan? But, keep in mind that it's 18 or so years before, and in Attack of the Clones and then Revenge of the Sith, he gets the beard and everything, so it's oh yeah, this is definitely Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is the Obi-Wan I know as a kid, even though Obi-Wan only had about 15 scenes altogether. No, even less than that.
I want to say that he had 5 in the total of the original trilogy.
Well, I don't know. It's less than what I thought. Whatever from I remembered. So Ben Kenobi's actually this badass from when he was younger, actually, in his prime.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sums it up. How I felt about the trilogies. And when I look back at Phantom Menace, it's okay, I feel like a kid again. And when I saw the new trailer, I felt like I was me now and a little bit of me when I was younger.
But, not completely as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I saw the Millennium Falcon, I felt like, oh, I'm 9 again.
So, but speaking of when we were, when you were a kid, the original trilogy, the original trailer, that just introduced Star Wars for the first time. That trailer, as someone who was, one and a half when he first saw Star Wars and fell in love with it for the first time. It's just that trailer is kind of magical for me. In a sense, it's wow, this is really awesome. And I'm not looking at it as a person who's seen the Star Wars movies hundreds of thousands of times. I'm pretending when I watch that, I know nothing about it, and it still gets me hyped because my major thing is, oh, who is this black, like, guy, like, this robotic-looking black guy, and what is this, like, weapon that he possesses? He looks really ruthless, really brutal, and of course I'm talking about Darth Vader, and, Darth Vader's iconic for many reasons, and, you can see the beginning of an icon just from the very first trailer.
Indeed, and plus, like, the lightsabers.
Plus, what?
Even though the lightsaber looks pretty weird back then for the trailer, it was just it was a demo trailer overall, until they had their actual colors.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that would be my input. Like, what do you think about the old trailers? It's pretty hype if I were that age again, like if I were 9. But now it's just like, I don't know.
Well, plus you have to realize that Star Wars is the first of its kind, so if you saw that in theaters, you'd be like, I've never seen anything like this ever. What is this nonsense? And where can I get it? Like, and where can I go see it? Oh, it's coming to the theaters later. Let me go check it out. And if I recall correctly, the original Star Wars was sold out for good reason, because it's my second favorite movie overall, and it's just so magical and wonderful. It just makes me really happy.
Yeah, me too.
And then like granted, I'm gonna say, like, overall the Episode 7 trailer doesn't stack up to the old, like, to Phantom Menace nor be very original, but at the very least, I see the potential in Episode 7, and as a massive fan, I only want to see the potential, go stronger. I can't wait to see it in theaters, because it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna feel like a kid watching the Star Wars movies again. It's gonna be wonderful. But I'm optimistic, even though I like the other trailers more. I'm more familiar with the stuff that the trailers have, so it could be nostalgic bias on my behalf. But it is what it is.
Well, as for me, like, you know how I told you recently, and in our conversations before the cast, right?
Right.
That I recently rewatched the series altogether, including the side stuff.
Right.
And I feel like I'm still happy with what's going to happen, because I'm hyped up. I'm all like, I'm knowledge fed. I'm ready to see what's next for the series to go to after Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And my my nostalgia thing, I'm glad I saw through it. Like, I still love the starship battles, taking down the Walker or something like that. I forgot what it was called.
AT-AT.
Yeah, the AT-AT. That was amazing to this day. And when they went on the Battle of Hoth.
Any closing thoughts?
I hope we get to see more of what to come, and I hope you also see. I hope you watch Rebels during this break.
Right.
Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars still.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check those out, because you can never have too much Star Wars goodness. And yeah, okay. Well, thanks for being on. Well, thanks. We have to do this cast again sometime.
Oh, we definitely. I would love to.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening to us ramble about Star Wars for nearly a half an hour. Yeah, and this was just a teaser trailer. We'll be back with breakdowns and analysis for the episodes 1 through 6 and the TV shows and video games later. This is just a test pilot cast. Leave your suggestions in the comments below. And once again, thank you for listening. If you have a topic you want to see us cover, then, we'll be glad to address it, because both of us really love Star Wars. Okay, So this was Herok.
And Leo.
And thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye.